Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. So I came home at lunch today and I had gone ahead and tried out this recipe that I've actually not done before. I've done something similar to it, but not like this. So I just wanted to explain it to you guys since I kind of already did it and didn't get a chance to shoot it at lunchtime. I'll show it to you. It's so good, so delicious, and of course, so easy. So basically all it is it was 4 chicken breasts. I took a lemon and just sliced it, but I seasoned the chicken breast with thyme, Redmond's real salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of paprika, and it's 1/4 stick of butter. And you just let it slow cook for about, I let this cook for about 4 hours. I tested it and it was at its temperature. And the meat, I'll bring you guys over. The meat's just shredding off there's no bone, but it's just shredding. It's so good. So I'm gonna take these lemons out. See, here's the lemons. They cooked down. It gave it like a beautiful flavor. I super coated it in thyme. I love thyme. It's so good during this time of year. There's so many people that are sick and not feeling well. We'll take those lemons out to the compost. But yeah, you can see like there's some beautiful just chunks of like meat in here. And so I'm literally just shredding this. And what you can do is once this meat gets all shredded, you have 2 options. If you're not lactose intolerant, you can make a creamy chicken lemon butter meal. So you can just basically, what we do is just get some heavy whipping cream, and you can just put about I would say when I was cooking it, I used about 1/2 cup of water because the chicken juice already, like it already has juices. So 1/2 cup of water, 1/4 stick of butter. I would say it was a solid like 6 tablespoons of thyme. It was organic thyme. Just throw a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of paprika. You cook it for the, allotted amount of time that it requires. And then like I said, I just came home, it's ready. I'm shredding it. And then I would say that you can add about 1/2 cup to a whole cup of heavy whipping cream. I would start off with 1/2 cup and see how that goes. And then you have yourself a really nice kind of fancy creamy chicken meal. What I like to do is just get some mashed potatoes and just kind of put it with some mashed potatoes. If you feel like it's not thick enough for you, because some people like their stuff a little thicker, not as watery, you can add a little bit of flour into this and just leave the lid on and then just kind of stir it, and it will start to like cook up, because you want to make sure that flour was cooked. You can also add tapioca flour if you feel like you need a thickener, but we don't mind it kind of being wet because it kind of makes like a little bit of like a gravy texture to it. And then you can put it over like with the mashed potatoes. And look, that meat is so tender and it's just shredding. It's great. It's just great for a nice warm meal on a cold day. And like I said, so many people are sick right now. It's just crazy. And thank you to my Aunt Sharon and Uncle Tony for getting me a caramel apple. I'm so excited. They dropped it off at my house. Look at that. Yum. They're so good. They're so good to me. Thank you guys. Love you. All right. So we've got this whole container of spinach that my fiance needs to actually eat. So I'm going to show you guys a quick way to do just creamed spinach. So I'm going to turn the oven on to like medium-high heat. You're going to take 1/4 stick of butter. You're going to drop it in the pan. This is a super quick way to use stuff. Now, I have some of the Savannah collard greens that I got from Haas Tools. They are so good, guys. If you hear tussling, it's the dogs, of course. I'm going to melt this butter real quick. You get your butter melted. You don't even have to actually wait for it to melt, if I'm being really quite honest about the situation. You can just like rush this. And that's kind of why I like this, is because when I don't have a lot of time and I know my fiance is like on his way home. And like I said, I just got home myself. I was a little late today coming home. And then I got clients and stuff, so I got a lot to get done tonight. And I also stopped and got dog food, and you know, it's just one of those days, you know, I'm not complaining, it's just a lot on the plate. So you want to get this butter melted, and basically I'm going to tell you, this is probably going to be about, I don't know, maybe I'd say that's a solid like 4 cups of spinach. Now remember, spinach cooks down, and I'd say those are like very heavy cups, like maybe, oh man, I mean maybe you're pushing like 6 cups of spinach. But like I said, I need to get this spinach cooked, so he's gonna eat some spinach tonight. So basically we're gonna wilt this spinach down. Now I won't be trying this because y'all know spinach, no. But like I said, I have those collard greens out in the garden, and they're basically like a spinach to me. That's why I like them. And so you can use those types of collard greens because you want that more softer texture. You don't really want a true collard green, which is really like waxy and cabbagey. That's not going to work for this. Now the Florida broadleaf mustard greens would actually work in a process like this because of their texture, and that's why I like the Florida broadleaf. Make sure you go check out Haas Tools for that. But basically I'm gonna wilt this down. I'm gonna get a lid and probably just pop a lid on it real quick, and then when it's done and wilted, like I said, I'm looking at probably a good solid like 6 cups of spinach if you're, you know, truly measuring. And I'm gonna use about 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream. And I'm just gonna add it in there, add a little salt, add a little pepper, and it is good to go. So that is a super simple, easy meal for your family that kind of changes up the dynamics of your dinner. And like I said, I threw that chicken in the crock pot, and then we have some mashed potatoes. And so it makes for a really good and easy meal for tonight. I'm actually gonna be eating a kale salad because y'all know I don't like spinach. So, all right, I'll bring you guys back as soon as this is done, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so the spinach is cooked down. That really took like maybe, I'm not even joking you, maybe like 5 minutes maybe. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead, you know, I just eyeball stuff, so I like to make things easy. About 1/2 cup. I'm gonna let it just kind of warm up real quick. I did turn the heat down. We are now on like a medium low heat because I don't want that milk to kind of curdle. So I'll bring you guys over a little bit so you can see. All right, and there you go. Basically, I'm just gonna let this kind of cook off a little bit. If, like I said, if you feel like you wanna make your food like a little bit thicker, instead of it being like super creamy, since we're having mashed potatoes, I don't mind like having him have the cream like the way it is. But if you feel like you need to thicken it after it kind of warms up and like steam cooks off, you can add like a little bit of flour. I'd say maybe a tablespoon. I definitely wouldn't do more than that. Maybe even start off like a teaspoon and then see how that goes and then like cook it. But it was that easy to make creamed spinach. So I think that's just kind of like a recipe that I don't see a lot of people make. And super simple, super easy, super fancy, kind of changes up the way that you're doing dinner. So again, y'all know that I like to find these easy recipes so that you guys can be eating better, eating something with change, because I know a lot of people just get tired of eating the same thing. And that's kind of like what I hear a lot is like, how can I change up my food? How can I make it different but still enjoy it and still kind of get something healthy at the same time without feeling like I need to go out to eat? And so that's just a super easy way to do it. And like, if you really want to zhuzh it up, I guess you could like they used to do this back in the day, is they used to get like a French loaf roll and they would cut it out and in the center just get like the whole, like a hoagie roll. That's probably what you would get now, unless you're like around a bakery. But I would get a hoagie roll. I would just cut out like the center piece and make it like a boat, and then you can stuff it with the creamed spinach, and then people can just eat it like that, like take it off in slices and eat like chunks of bread with spinach. That's kind of like a nice way to do it too, and it just kind of looks a little fancier. But we don't need the extra calories, so we're not going to be doing that. And I don't eat spinach anyway, so he doesn't need the extra calories. None of us do, right? And here is the drink that we are drinking. It is Slice. It is a prebiotic and a probiotic, so it's pretty good. It tastes a lot like a Sprite. So I always try to tell you guys, good gut health and microbiome is really important. It will help your skin, it will help your body, it will help your guts, and that's what we all need right now. So we have a lot of stress in the world. I was just watching about those fires in California. Y'all, literally, I could every day talk about something like that's going on. And in those types of situations, like, what can you do? Like, you could prep and prepare all day long, but you've basically, I mean, you've lost everything at that point. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's like a hurricane. It wipes out everything, and you have to go to plan B. So, you know, I think that's something that people also need to be thinking about is, like, do you have a to-go bag? I mean, some people call them bug out bags, some people just call them prep bags, whatever you want to call it. Like, do you have a bag that if something happened, you can just pick up, roll out, and go? If you're like me and you have pets, make sure that you've got plenty of dog food. That was one of the things I stopped off and did today, is I had to get some dog food. So you know, you got to just make sure that you have a lot of stuff. Like, we try to stay up to date on these things. And you know, just, I have a big vehicle. Like, that's important for me because, yes, I'm one person, but if I needed to escape, and you know, I'm sure the rest of the world would be trying to escape at the same time, you know, the rest of the people that are going through that disaster, you know, you got to kind of have a plan in place. And sometimes you're not going to be able to plan, and that's why you got to network, and you got to know people, and you got to kind of just be thinking about some of these things that could be happening. This is definitely something to me that was, you know, talked about, and every generation has had something that they have had to go through. You know, I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, I feel like it's just like end times apocalyptic stuff going on. Like, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems like our bodies are always under stress. We're always under stress. It just seems like a lot going on. And my mom's like, you know, when I was growing up, she's like, I used to have to hide under desks and stuff because, you know, we were afraid we were going to get bombed. And she's like, there's all kinds of, all kinds of things that have happened throughout our generations here in the States that have caused some anxiety and some angst. So we're going to talk about that coming up. I've been talking about that with my clients, and I feel like it is something that I want to share with you guys as we move forward on, not only because, remember, this is mind, body, spirit. That's what Growing Zone 9B is about. It's growing through life. It's not just about getting out there in the garden. And I know a lot of people like think that that's what it is when they hit my channel, but honestly, this is a bigger piece of the puzzle. I'm doing this because I want people to be learning, growing, and changing. If I didn't love people, I would not be in the field of mental health. That is one of my jobs. I love guiding people through life. I love, you know, seeing people grow and reach their goals and, you know, find peace, find happiness after traumatic events. I am certified in trauma, death, and dying. So and a lot of people are like, oh, hospice. I'm like, no, that's not what I do. Like, there's plenty of trauma out there that the world doesn't really, they kind of turn a blind eye to a lot of times. But anyway, we'll get into some of those subjects soon. I am going to be talking about some things we can do to help alleviate stress, and this is something that pretty much most of us will be able to do, and you don't actually have to do exercise or something like that. So, all right, friends, as always, love one another, be kind, and I can't wait to see you guys soon in my next video.